Ever had a chocolate pie that looked rich but was heavy and grainy? This French silk pie is light, luscious, and truly melts in your mouth. Hi, I'm Gemma Stafford, professional chef and baker, and I've been making pies for over 20 years. We'll pre-bake a flaky crust, whisk up a silky chocolate filling, and top it with clouds of cream and chocolate curls. So let's get baking and make the best chocolate pie you've ever had. So the first step for this pie is to prepare the pie crust. Now this is my creamed butter pie crust that I made a few weeks back. It is a fantastic recipe. All you have to do is cream the butter and sugar together, add in your dry ingredients, then chill it. For this recipe, I'm proud to say that I've partnered with Plugrà butter. It's one of my favorite butters to use. It is chef inspired and recommended by chefs just like myself. And it really makes for a superior product. So roll your pie crust out on a floured surface. For this pie crust, I like to roll it really cold. And you'll notice working with it, it's kind of soft. So roll it really cold and it makes life so much easier. And also a well-floured surface. Plugrà is a slow churned butter, which makes it really workable and perfect for pastries and doughs and makes them really flaky. Because butter is the most important ingredient when making pastry, this is why I choose Plugrà Premium European style butter, because it has 82% butter fat, which is really high, which means less water. It makes it perfect for pastry. More fat, less water, less shrinkage, and then also more flavor. And my preference always is salted, so you get that little bit extra flavor. So here's my chef secret for transferring pastry. Roll it over your rolling pin, just like that. Bring in your pan and then roll it carefully over, just like that. The easiest way to transport pastry. Look at that, you see how pliable that is? So I learned this fantastic trick for crimping pastry and getting it lovely and smooth. Rather than using a knife or anything, use a scissors, leave that overhang there, go around the pastry and create smooth edges with the scissors. Nice and rounded, consistent all over. Look at that, look at those smooth edges. Now all you have to do is just crimp it and shape it any way you like. So I'm just going to tuck around the edges like so. And then I'm kind of just going to do big kind of crimps. I have those smooth edges, so already it's looking really good. So the reason this dough is so pliable and easy to work with is because of Plugrà butter. Just look at that, fantastic results. For our silk pie, we're going to blind bake it, and that step is really easy. So I don't want you to freak out about the thoughts of blind baking. It's actually really easy. What we're going to do is egg wash our pastry first to make sure that it gets lovely golden brown in the oven. Beautiful, just around the crimped edges. Here we have a circle of parchment. Let me show you this chef's secret. Crumple it up really, really well. And this will help it sit into your pie crust so much better and take the exact shape that you were looking for. See that? It almost molds itself into the pastry, holding up the pastry. Lovely. So now another chef's tip. When it comes to baking beads that are kind of expensive in the stores, I do not buy them. I use an old bag of rice. You can use sugar, you can use lentils, beans, anything like that. They're really inexpensive. And you can use them over and over again, as long as they're not dirty and they stay dry. So this is old brown rice that I didn't get to use in time, but it makes for great pie weights. It's going to hold down our crust while it bakes. Now let's get this puppy into the oven. So bake your pie crust at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, if you need it fully cooked, like we do here with the silk pie, remove those pie weights carefully, pop it back into the oven for another 10 to 15 minutes until it is completely baked through and a light golden brown. For the filling, this is a really rich, luscious tart. So we have eggs in here. The difference is we're going to heat treat our eggs. Some recipes don't have you do that. I prefer to do it. It also helps build structure. So over a double boiler, I've got a little bit of water in here. I have my bowl and I'm going to whisk that together with my sugar and my eggs are in there. For this step, you want to stand here and don't walk away and whisk and whisk and whisk. And all we're doing, we're not trying to cook eggs here. We're heat treating, so we want them to get nice and warm, the heat to come through them, and that sugar dissolve. Continually whisking so your eggs don't cook. Now, you know when they're ready, put your finger in there, Rub your fingers. If you can't feel any sugar granules, it is ready to go. You want to make sure that's nice and smooth and not gritty with sugar. And it also is warmed all the way through, but not too hot. That means it's done. Lovely, they're ready to go. Follow me over to the counter. So on the counter, we're going to have melted bittersweet chocolate. You do that while your eggs are cooking. I have a sieve here, and I'm going to sieve over our egg mixture into our chocolate. And the reason we sieve our eggs is because we just cooked them. And in case there is any little lumps, like as you can see, there's a little bit of cooked egg yolk in there in my sieve. We just want to make sure that your pie is a silk pie. And by that, I mean it is silky smooth, absolutely melt in your mouth with no lumps. So give that a little bit of a sieve to remove any lumps. Then we're going to add in a little bit of vanilla extract, pure vanilla. Use your best stuff for this pie. And then with a little hand whisk, gently whisk those together. Always be careful with bittersweet chocolate. I often say this because it can have a tendency to split because of the high fat. So I'm going to do a little mixy mix. I'm not going to tempt fate. And I'm going to leave it just like that. So I'm going to set this over to the side to cool down because we want it to be room temperature for our next steps. So while that's cooling, we're going to whip up our cream. Use heavy whipping cream, which has a high fat content, something around 36%. You can do this by hand, absolutely no problem. Electric hand mixer, or you can use a stand mixer. Now, when we're whipping this up, I can't emphasize this enough. We want kind of billowy peaks. You want soft peaks. You do not want stiff peaks. The softer your cream is, number one, the better it'll incorporate into your base, but also the softer, the more like velvety your pie will be in the end. So you don't want over whipped cream. You want it just lightly whipped, billowy, just really soft peaks. It only takes around 2 minutes to whip up. And just like our butter, make sure you're using good quality cream because that will make all the difference. Let's have a look at this. Lovely, lightly whipped cream. So I'm going to pop this into a bowl and into the fridge just to let it chill while we're doing our next step. So after the cream, you're going to whip up more butter. And the butter is what makes this a silk pie. Makes it moussey and truffle-like and melt in your mouth. Make sure your butter is at room temperature so it whips up so much easier. I like to leave it out for a few hours, sometimes even overnight. And just a reminder, salted butter is what I use because you just get that extra flavor. Now we're going to whip this up on a medium speed for around 2 to 3 minutes until it's lovely and light and fluffy. So our butter is lovely and fluffy and pale in color. So now this is the time to add in our chocolate mixture. You have to make sure that your chocolate mixture has cooled down a lot, that it's not hot. And if you need to, put it on a little ice bath to cool it down. While the machine is going on a lower speed, I'm going to drizzle in this mix. Then I'm going to turn it up to a medium high speed and let it whip up for around 3 minutes until this whole mixture gets lovely and thick. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous. It is lightened in color and it's nice and moussey. This is when we're going to add in our lightly whipped cream. Now with a thin metal spoon, go ahead and fold that cream into the chocolate base. Now as a professional chef, somebody who's been doing this for over 20 years, I see so many recipes where say fold, your egg whites, your cream, whatever it is, with a spatula. Day one in pastry school, we learned do not use spatulas, use a thin metal edge spoon because it'll slice right through, incorporating the mixture well, but not knocking out the air. A big thick spatula will knock out that air and that's not what we want. We're professionals over here. So we want to make sure that we do it the old classic French way. And that is our filling. We have our pie crust here and in it goes. Just this alone, you can tell why it's called a silk pie. Look at that. Doesn't get much more silkier than that. Go ahead and just spread that filling into the edge of your pie crust. Sometimes I like to give it a bit of a little bang just to settle the filling. Make sure it gets into all the nooks and crannies. Gorgeous, look at that. Okay, the last thing we have to do is chill our pie, let it set until our filling is nice and firm. When chilling this pie, I recommend not cover it in cling wrap until it's absolutely set. Then later on you can cover it. When you're ready to serve, let the base of the pie sit out at room temperature for at least 30 minutes to let the chocolate and that butter soften a little bit. Chocolate silk pie is classically topped with lightly whipped cream. And we cannot serve this iconic dessert without topping it with a few chocolate curls. Without a doubt, this is a big and bold chocolate silk pie. This pie is lovely because it's multi-dimensional. It has that lovely crisp buttery crust, a soft mousse-like filling, and then topped with some rich cream on top. The filling of this pie is really nuanced with the salty, rich butter, the dark, bittersweet chocolate, and also that little kick of vanilla at the end. When it comes to pies during the holiday season, I go for the creamy, rich, and absolutely delicious. And this is it, all in one dessert. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you very much to Plugrà Butter for sponsoring this video. I'll see you back here again really soon.